right, all right. So I want to welcome everybody and thank you for being here, and Happy New Year, by the way. Happy 2020. Oh my God, that's a crazy sounding thing. So we get together every month and celebrate and recognize achievements and special accomplishments and all sorts of things. And the Sheriff's Office has all sorts of things going on. So it's good that we get to stop and do this. And the first thing we always do is stop and recognize birthdays. And normally here are all the people who are celebrating their birthday. This is a sample slide. This is not this month, but it feels like this month. Y'all who are back there and as old as me can't tell the difference, so we don't want to lie to you, but it looks like this normally, right? So it looks like this with a whole bunch of names on it. And they're all celebrating their birthday the month of January. But I know how many years there are in January that we're celebrating, and somebody guessed last time really close.
I guessed exactly.
You guessed exactly. You know who guessed exactly? Who? Carla Joseph. Do you know whose birthday it is in January this year? Carla Joseph. Do you know who we're going to sing to? Carla Joseph. So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carla. Happy birthday to you. Right. All right. Carla and 3,656 other years. So, or hers are in those years, but 49 of those years. Well, happy birthday to you. So that's fantastic. Yeah, so we also recognize our officer and employees of the month each month, as you know. And the month of November, our employee of the month is Mr. Stanford Woods. Where are you at, Stanford? Is he here today? Uh-oh. Well, we will welcome Mr. Woods next month, or it will always be in November. So we'll bring him back next month as well. So our officer of the month for the month of November is Miss Shakita Branch. Is she here? Did we see her? Happy New Year. How about that? Hey, our retention rate is really good around here. I know. So we're 0 for 2. Let's see what happens. See if we can get. All right, we have other things to do, I promise. And I see you here. I see some people here on the list, so we don't. All right, so Officer Employees of the Month and other special recognitions and things that go on throughout the agency in all sorts of unique situations. But I'd like to recognize two special people, Mr. Michael Stratton and Paul Malloy. Would y'all step up here for me? Where? Is that theirs? Okay. So I want to read something that was written, and we're going to present them our exemplary service coin. It says, on Friday, December 6th, Paul Malloy and Michael Stratton saved a life. Employees were processing the sudden and violent death of a fellow counselor, which occurred earlier in the week. When a man called out for help, Paul and Michael, without hesitation, ran downstairs to respond. In the kitchen was a woman choking and a man trying to perform the Heimlich maneuver, unsuccessfully. Paul and Michael quickly stepped in and worked together in order to perform a successful Heimlich maneuver. They successfully accomplished the maneuver, and the woman coughed up the object, which restricted her breathing. Their fast response, ability to resolve a problem in the emergency situation, and communicated effectively as a team saved her life. I want to recognize Paul and Michael for great work. Mike, appreciate you. Thank you very much. Very good, Paul. Michael, appreciate you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. All right. All kinds of good things going on, and as you all know, a year-round effort, as we have now known it to be, the Last Minute Toy Store, and the adoption of that as our unique program really is, by all accounts, a huge success. This year, there were over 6,000 families impacted, or kids who were recognized, the largest ever. Over 2,000 different families came through. It's unheard of. If you don't know this, we keep up with, Melinda does a really good job of keeping up with this. Just the Sheriff's Office alone and giving money, not time, not toys, is $40,000. I mean, it is a lot that goes on throughout the year, from some people who like to wear jeans on Friday, and some people who like to play putt-putt golf at the whatever we did out there at the hospital, which was pretty cool. Not the hospital, but that facility. To cookouts and all sorts of things. And so it's become a unique event. But there's no secret about it. It all culminates into basically a week up on the hill where we have all sorts of people doing incredible work. And I hope if you've never done it, you'll try to do it one year just for your own. I think it's a really healthy exercise, everybody who's a part of it. So, but I really want to recognize two people who not only one year, but every year have really stepped up in a special way. And so I'd like to ask Ruby and Sarah Farron to step up here if you don't mind. Y'all can. So if you don't know, Melinda McDowell goes to church with Pastor Roble, who really is how this whole thing started for us. She was involved with us, her and Jim, before we ever got involved. And so it was kind of a weird relationship that we ended up meeting and getting an idea of bringing it all here because Melinda was involved long before this. But once we decided to make it our own, I asked Melinda to be our key point person. So she and Chief Ford are now on the board for the Last Minute Toy Store, and so are with the program year-round, and obviously engaged when with us and with them throughout the year. And so she's written this about these two special people. I want you to hear it. It says, Ruby has volunteered with me for 2 years. She does data entry, which is easily the most monotonous and boring job at the store. She works all 3 days for at least 8 hours and never complains. And I have to beg her to take a break or to go eat. If the forms aren't completely entered when it's time to go, she takes them home and does data entry at home so we were caught up the next morning. You would likely overlook her at the store. She sits in her corner spot and keeps her head down. Data entry is critical to tracking who has come through and also making sure the children are not served twice during the same year. This is probably not a surprise to any of you, but I'm truly grateful for Ruby. She could assume that data entry work is below her pay grade or asked to do something more interesting, but she doesn't. We're lucky to have her volunteering for Last Minute Toy Store. Thank you very much. So Sarah stepped in this year in a big way to help us in the front computer work of verifying children who were served with the Angel Tree. Not only did she work Thursday and Friday and has committed to working all 3 days next year, but she became my assistant with the laptops. She set them up every morning, got everything boxed up and ready to go back in Mike's office in the afternoon, well after she could have gone home. She helped run the front computer area while I was running around like crazy doing other things, and it was a huge help. Sarah has a great attitude and always has a smile on her face, which is definitely welcome during these times. We want to thank both of you and give you a special recognition coin. Sarah, thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you for everything. Ruby, thank you very much. Thank you both. Thank you very much. Great work. Okay, there we go. I saw Mr. Stanford Woods. I knew you was coming in. The traffic in Nashville held us up. So if you don't mind, our employee of the month, Mr. Stanford Woods. He got the hardest job in Nashville trying to move around in this town. So I want to recognize, it says on November 20th, Stanford Woods was delivering mail to MCC inmates as he regularly does. On this particular day, Woods was delivering legal mail to inmates in Peapod. He followed policy and procedure as he always does by having inmates sign for the legal mail. He opened the mail in their presence and flipped through it to be sure it contained no contraband. Woods writes in his incident report, after inspecting the envelope, I flipped through the pages of the legal mail in front of him, skimming the top, and was about to hand the mail over to him when I started to bend and feel for any uneven thickness of the paperwork. After feeling a small bulge in the stack of paperwork, I found a section of the paper that was stuck together, and when I separated the paper, I noticed a compression orange material, later identified as Suboxone strips, attached to the paper. Woods found the same sort of odd thickness in legal mail in two separate inmates in the same pod. The mailing labels contained attorney names and appeared to have been typed using the same typewriter or word program. Mr. Woods remained focused and thoroughly did his job. Woods was just seconds away from handing both inmates what proved to be fake legal mail. He took the extra step that positively impacted people beyond those that he could use. Inmates under the influence of drugs inside the facility are a danger to themselves, officers, medical, and every other entity we come in contact with. Smugglers are also taking advantage of the formulation of the drug that comes in thin strips, which can be hidden behind stamps and envelope seams. This is not the first time that Mr. Woods has intercepted contraband coming through the mail. We remain grateful for Mr. Woods that he continues to take the extra steps needed to keep us all safe. He has proven to be an invaluable extension of the safety and security of operation of our jail, written by Ms. Ruby Joyner. We congratulate you very much. Mr. Woods, thank you very much. Great job, well done. Let's get There we go. Let me give you, here's your coin, and there is 8 hours of leave, so you can take that's your credit card, and there's your nomination. A job well done. Appreciate you. Thank you. I think he was a repeat winner too, right? Mr. Woods has been here before, so so we're just a little delayed. We're catching back up. So Miss Shakita Branch, did we come in? Did I see? There we go. Come on up here, Shorty. We've been bragging about y'all and y'all weren't even here. So it says on December 9th, Corporal Shakita Branch was working HDC booking intake and assisting with the search of an arrestee when she found a plastic bag containing green leafy substance that appeared to be marijuana. Due to Corporal Branch's awareness and thorough search, she was able to keep drugs from entering the facility. The next day, while working turnkey, she noticed an arrestee appeared to be unresponsive. She responded to the arrestee and attempted a sternum rub, to which the arrestee was still unresponsive. She immediately notified medical, and they determined that the arrestee had possibly overdosed. Medical administered Narcan, and after several minutes, the arrestee became responsive and was transported to the hospital. Corporal Branch's awareness and action saved the life of the arrestee. Her awareness and dedication to not only meeting but exceeding DCSO standards deserves the honor of being recognized as Officer of the Month. Job well done. Thank you very much. Job well done. There we go. Hang on one sec. There we go. Here's a ribbon for your uniform. We'll hide that in there for you. There we go. And there's 8 hours of leave and your nomination. A bunch of stuff to carry. Congratulations to you. Job well done. Wow. How about all that? Saving lives. We got people delivering mail, saving people, and we've got people getting choked, and we've got people overdosing, and golly. And in the middle of all that, we got people saving 2,000 families Christmas. How about that? So, gosh. So all that's going on, and you know, I could have, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I could have said, and I'm just talking about for me, and I just want you to understand, my job does not allow me to do what I would want to do all day. I mean, honestly, I enjoy the operations of what we get to do. I love my job, but that's not what I get to do. So when I get to engage or interact with people who are the real people who do the real work, you know it. And so in the last month or so, as we were trying to get moving towards our new facility, there are 3 names, and I would have said this 3 weeks ago. There are 3 names that, at least for me, and I have been in and out of that building, the new building, probably 10 or 12 times. And each one of those times, these 3 people had an impact on my survival of getting in and out of the building, but also learning what the heck the building was about. And so 3 weeks ago, if you had asked me, who would you like to recognize for something extra that they're doing, and I don't ever get to do this, I don't nominate people, but I promise you, I swear to you, I would have written these 3 names down to be recognized for their extraordinary work in helping us get our new building open. And y'all, this is not good to tell people. When I learn your name, it's usually for bad things. There's 1,000 people working here, and I wish I could say I know everybody. But when I hear the same name over and over and over, and in my job I have said to people before, I'm tired of hearing your name. That usually means you're causing this agency disruption. And I don't do that every day, but I can name times. These names aren't negative at all. I'm pointing at Pete because He would be an easy one to say, I'm tired of you. Name everything. But the three names that I hear and see the most in the way that I was interacting with the new building were Lieutenant Dial, Conrad, and Sergeant Whitkus. And I went to the building virtually every weekend. And I would go into master control and sit there and just try to learn what I could learn. Tell me what's working, what's not working. Show me what this means. And to be honest with you, I'm trying to learn myself. But it's evident that was the glue of what we're trying to do down there. And I don't think anybody here who's been in and out of that building would deny that. And so I want you to think about it. If you don't mind, all three of you guys, come on up here for a couple of reasons. Lieutenant Dial, Lieutenant Conrad, Sergeant Whitkus. Appreciate you very much. Appreciate you. Sergeant, appreciate you. So here's the thing. If I had written 3 weeks ago and said these guys have spent hundreds of hours that you know nothing about trying to help us, I could have written all this and stood here and showed it to you and said, it's kind of funny. I was I don't know, it's been a month or so ago. I went in on a Saturday and I just flopped down in master control, just wanted to see what was working, what wasn't. And there were some people working, I forget exactly who they were, and security, and they were at the monitors, and I would say, what does that red dot mean? And the poor person, and it's kind of funny, I'm not picking on you, but also, he'd answer every question from left field. That means this, that means this. He had everything. And that person right there was learning too. And what I learned was, we were just now getting people assigned, so it wasn't their fault, but Sergeant Whitkus knew everything. And I walked out, and this is the God's honest truth, I said, I wish we had 10 of him now, because I was convinced he knew what to do. And in a major part of what we were doing, master control, it's very nerve-wracking, worrying, is that ready to go? And so whether it's Lieutenant Dial and Conrad or Whitkus, to me, I would have nominated them and been standing here bragging about them. But I want to read something to you, and then I want you to understand kind of what really is happening. On December 30th, 2019, Lieutenants Conrad and Dial were in the DDC key control room when they discovered a key ring had been altered. Upon further investigation, it was determined 2 keys were missing. During video review, it was discovered a white male wearing construction helmet, vest, and dust mask entered the room and removed a set of keys from key control and left the facility for approximately 2 hours before entering the DDC again and replacing the key ring. It was also discovered this individual entered the facility on at least 3 other occasions. A covert plan was developed to monitor DDC cameras and identify and possibly detain the suspect if he ever returned. On January 4, 2020, the suspect returned, attempting to enter the DDC lobby. Sergeant Whitkus met the individual in the lobby and explained that he needed to escort him to the back dock for ID and badge exchange. Sergeant Whitkus calmly walked the suspect to the back dock door, issued him a badge, and allowed him to enter through the first door of the back dock sally port. Once the suspect was secured in the sally port, he immediately called for a facility lockdown and called Lieutenants Dial and Conrad. Lieutenant Conrad immediately proceeded to the back dock sally port hallway to ensure the area was secured and monitored the suspect from the detention side of the facility. Lieutenant Dial maintained direct observation of the suspect through facility cameras and started the agency's critical incident notification process. Sergeant Whitkus, Lieutenant Dial, Lieutenant Conrad were very professional and poised throughout this entire incident when the suspect was caught. Additionally, without their endless hours, hundreds of hours of video review, dedication, and diligence to this extremely serious incident, this individual may not have been detected and apprehended. I don't think thank you is enough, but I want to recognize all of these 3 guys with an exemplary service coin. Lieutenant Dial, a ribbon for your uniform. I appreciate your work every day, every bit of it. There you go. Lieutenant, appreciate you very much. Appreciate your work. There we go. Sergeant, there we go. Appreciate your work.
Thank you very much.
There's your ribbon for your uniform as well. One more time. Great job. There we go.
I thought they had a video of it.
What was you saying? Are they getting on you about you?
So it was tactical.
Hey, I wasn't going to bring this up.
You seen it too?
Well, they talked about it. I'm just going to say that.
I jumped off the back dock in excitement and I fell. It was tactical.
Well, I don't know what it is, but once you got him trapped, there's some excitement, and so I think he left a little further than he was supposed to. He was.
Heavier up top, hanging down low.
Well, we're proud of all three of you, and job extremely well done. So thank you for everything, guys. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's. I think we may have to name the building after those three. Wow. So the other important part, and it seems insignificant, but it's not. The world that we live in today, and I say this sometimes, is a little bit about telling your own story, because the world is a little bit crazy on telling. I don't know if it's fake news or not. I'm just saying news that no one believes anymore. And so we've made a conscious effort to try to get more information. We're sitting here right now. By the time we leave here, all these stories are going to be out, right? We want the public to know the work that you do. And we want, if you don't feel proud about the people you're working with, listen to who you work with. How many lives were saved just talking this morning? I have no idea. And forget the 2,000 families that you impacted. I just want you to understand that. Gosh. And if we don't tell people that, it's not to brag about us, right? The reality of what we're trying to do is to say, we have some incredible people. We got a guy who's delivering mail, stopping someone from potentially harming inmates or themselves. We have a woman who saved someone's life who had taken drugs that they shouldn't have, that's going to potentially end their life. So the reality of it is, I'm not shy about telling people what to do. And I'm loud, but I can't get it everywhere, right? So the social media world we live in is the way that happens. And Mark does a great job. I don't know where Mark is. Mark does a great job at kind of facilitating all that for us. The communications division is trying to video and audio and tell the story and take pictures. They're everywhere to try to say, look what we do. Maria Toro was meeting with the governor today. She forgot where she came from. See, she didn't even say hello this morning. Steering Clear is invited to meet the governor. Now, who cares about the sheriff anymore? See, she don't even speak to me. But we have to tell our own stories. And so every once in a while, Mark will come up and say, look, we've got a super tweeter. I love that word. And we've got a person who's doing incredible work in getting our messages out. And the point of it is, it's not about the sheriff, it's about Maria Toro. It's about Mr. Woods. The work that they're doing, unfortunately, is not going to be on the headline, the way this world works. So we're going to recognize our super tweeter this month, Mr. Solomon Holly. Would you come up? Appreciate you. I appreciate your work. Appreciate your work on all that. Man, he's the best looking dude here too, so let's get. There we go. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. We could stay here all day. I promise you there are people and things going on. Where's Marcia? I just saw Marcia somewhere. Marcia's about to be sworn in as president of the American Jail Association. It is what... It is what we do, right? And she's going to be leading the association. Chief Wilkes is the vice president of the American Correctional Association, heading out of here to go to represent... And I could go on and on and on. There are things going on, and I was teasing Maria a little bit, but no kidding, very excited that the governor asked to learn more about Steering Clear. He wants to go statewide with this program that is doing incredible work helping people get their license back. And so, I'm going to go meet with the governor. Well, that's just, it's like your kids getting recognized. And I just want you to feel that. It doesn't just happen. And so I want you to feel proud about it, because sometimes this world's pretty negative. Get very frustrated that we're down there putting our head in the sand trying to get this building open, doing the right thing, and have to be distracted like this. And again, we've been through a lot of different issues in my time here. nothing more bizarre as it relates to what's going on. And again, the motives are questionable. We're worried about what else is at stake. There's a lot going on. But this 2020 is going to be a great year. I feel it. I know. We have a lot of really good things. Sometime in 2020, we're opening that building. I don't care what happens. My suspicion is sometime later in February, maybe early March, but we will get back to you. We're working on locks and trying to figure all that out. We want it right before we do it. But we will update you on that as soon as we can, and we're working through that as much as this morning coming over here. So that's going to happen. We're going to open a new building. We're going to get everybody back in place, the women back, the situation squared away, and a lot of other things. And if you haven't driven by downtown or go through that little stretch, there's at least 3 big stairwells, I guess, that we can call our headquarters today. So 2 elevators and a stairwell. There you go. So we've got, there is concrete pouring, okay? I go over there every morning or swing by there every morning, and if it's not raining, there better be a body over there doing something. So we won't open that this year, but we're going to see it come out of the ground too. And for a lot of you, some of you in here, and some of you who have been forced to live in a hospital and an old workhouse and trailer parks and these things that are embarrassing to even admit, and even us who are in an old grocery warehouse handed down, right, at admin. So everybody deserves a quality place to work, and you're going to get it, and we're going to make sure of that. And I hope the next 12 months, if we don't get the headquarters open, we'll surely know what it looks like by this time next year. So a lot of great things going on with that, and we will surely keep you updated as we go on the construction stuff. I want to thank everybody for your last-minute toy store. Obviously, Sarah and Ruby helped, but Melinda has told me, and I see Shell. I'd see Shell every day. Every time I go up there, head down, doing the work, and every one of you. Carmen, I saw her dancing, Lord knows, coming through there, shopping with people. So it is a great program. It really is to watch what we're doing with people, and even that has some bizarre things. We had people, if you don't know, selling tickets, we think. Counterfeit tickets. So, I mean, there's a lot that goes on in the world, and you shouldn't even think about it. We're having to try to counter that by having people do things. So just the world is what it is, but we're not going to let the darkness put our light out. So what else we got? I know there's a lot happening, and time is flying by. Anybody? Anything? Everybody okay? All right, let's do this. Everybody that was honored today, we want you to go first. Let's get some food, fun, and fellowship. Have a great rest of the week.